Hi everyone, it's Marieta. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I want to talk about DV Visa Lottery 2022 requirements coming up. Alright, so DV Visa Lottery 2022 requirements. What are the requirements? And before I start, I do want to ask you to subscribe, especially if you're new to my channel. Welcome. And also check out my Instagram where I'm sharing daily content. Now, I recently made a video, guys, where I actually did talk about the dates, application dates, registration period. So I'm gonna link the video for you here. You can check it out and go back. There are many of you asking me about the requirements, whether you are eligible or not, and all kinds of different questions. So here's what I'm gonna do. In this video, I'm gonna be briefly discussing the overview, the requirements for DV Visa 2022, and in my next video I will actually talk about frequently asked questions and I will be answering those questions. If you actually have any question, you can leave them below this video and I will later take it into consideration when I'm going to be making another video. So let's talk about the eligibility requirements. Because many of you have this particular question, am I eligible if I was not born in the country that is eligible? As you know, for the DV Visa 2022, you need to be from an eligible country in order to apply. By the way, guys, if you find information about the eligible countries available online, I would not be so sure that these are the right information because I'm using the official source always and always, which is travel.state.gov. And guess what? They haven't released officially, publicly the dates yet. Likewise, they didn't release yet the eligible country list. That being said, I cannot provide the answer to this question if your country is eligible because they haven't really yet released the information. So if you actually Google eligible countries for 2022, which I did, you're gonna find all kinds of websites giving you the list of eligible countries, and these are not the official source, okay? So always work with the official source such as travel.state.gov. So guys, let's talk about the requirement when it comes to eligibility, when it comes to the country of your origin, when it comes to your country where you were born. As you know, you can only apply for DV Visa Lottery if you are from the country that is on the list, the eligible country in other words. So what can you do if you were not born in that particular country? So let's discuss. Requirement number one, as you know, you need to be born in the countries whose natives qualify. However, if you were not born in an eligible country, there are two other ways you can actually qualify. Number one, your spouse was born in a country whose natives are eligible. Okay, so if you are married to a spouse that was actually born in an eligible country, you can claim that basically sort of a secondary spouse's birth option. So you can still apply even though you were born in a country that is not eligible. Number two, you were born in a country whose natives are ineligible, but in which neither of your parents was born or legally residing at the time of your birth, right? So for example, you were born in, let me just make this up. You were born in China, but your parents, they were born in Poland, and at that time none of your parents was actually residing in China. You can apply because you can claim that eligibility based on your parents' birth. Make sense? Awesome. Requirement number two is that each applicant must meet the education and work requirement. Okay, so that being said, you need to show, once you are selected, not during the application, because the application process is super easy. It's one page, you just fill out the information, you're good to go. But once you are selected, you will need to submit the evidence that you meet the educational requirements. So what are the educational requirements? A, you at least need to have high school education or its equivalent, which is defined as a successful completion of 12-year course of formal elementary and secondary education, or 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years in an occupation that requires at least 2 years of training or experience to perform. So one of these you need to meet, and obviously, like I said, when you're applying for the DV visa lottery, you already should be able to prove by the evidence that you are meeting these requirements, even though you are not submitting any educational documentation within the application when you are applying for the DV visa lottery. Now, let's talk about the entry period. The only way for apply for DV visa lottery is during the registration period. Every year the registration period opens in October and they close in November. So if you are applying for DV visa lottery that is outside of this period, guess what? Scam. I already made a video on this. I'm gonna link the video for you. Check it out, because there's so many fraudulent websites. I'm always talking about this, and yet you guys still email me and asking me, is this fraud? Is this fraud? Is this fraud? Yes, it's fraud. If some website is telling you to apply right now, we are almost at the end of September, it's a fraud. You need to wait for the application registration period to open, and only then you can apply. And you can only apply electronically through the official website dvlottery.state.gov, and I think they updated recently the website, so it's dvprogram.state.gov. Okay, now this year you will be able to again apply starting October 1st. I already made a video, application date, check it out. So now moving on. Once you complete the electronic entry, I want to say you should save the confirmation number, because you will need it next year in May when you will be checking if you were selected. This is a frequently asked question, so keep that in mind. If you for some reason lost the confirmation number, you can retrieve the number. There is a way. I did mention it in my previous videos, so again you can go back to that video. I'm going to link it for you, and you can check it out. So what are the information that you will be actually submitting in this entry? I'm going to break it down one by one. And last thing I want to mention is that you need to have the valid passport, because this is again a question that I'm getting. Do I need a passport? Yes, you do need a passport. That's how you're going to actually apply, unless you are stateless, unless you don't belong anywhere, unless you are without a nationality, but in that case you probably wouldn't qualify. So what are information you will be submitting? First is your name, last name and family name, and then first name, exactly as it appears on your passport. Okay, if you only have one name, you must enter this name in the last family name field. Somebody asked me recently, what if I just have one name? Then you can just use one name, and you're gonna submit the name in the last family name field. Number 2, gender, obviously male or female. Number 3, birth date, and you don't make any mistake here. You first start with a day, then month, and then a year, because typically in US you first put the month, then the day and the year, but in this application you first put the date, then the month, and then the year. Number 4, city you were born in. Number 5, country where you were born. Okay, use the name of the country currently used for the place where you were born. Okay, so even if you live in different country, use the country you were born. Country of eligibility for the DV program, which is number 6. Your country of eligibility will normally be the same as your country of birth. Your country of eligibility is not related to where you live right now or your nationality right now if it is different from your country of birth. If you were born in a country that is not eligible, then like I mentioned today, you can basically use the exception if you have a spouse that was born in a country that is eligible, or if you have a parent that was born in a country that is eligible. Now, number 7, there is a new field, meaning the passport number you need to submit with the country of issuance, expiration date, unexpired international travel passport as well. This applies to the principal entrant only, not the dependents. Okay, you must enter valid international passport unless you are stateless, which I already mentioned, right? National of a communist controlled country and unable to obtain a passport from the government of the communist controlled country, or the beneficiary of an individual waiver approved by the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Secretary of State. So these are the exceptions, right? These people can actually submit no information in Section 7. However, if obviously this exception doesn't apply to you, you need to submit the passport information. Number 8, entrant photographs. You have to submit the recent photograph, so don't submit a photograph from last year, okay? You can totally make your own selfie and adjust it accordingly. You make a selfie and then you read the requirements. By the way, the link that I'm using this information from, sharing this information today, I'm gonna link below this video so you guys can read it yourself. So no confusion. Just don't be lazy and read the information. See submitting digital photograph details. So again, like I'm not gonna go in depth when it comes to the photograph, when it comes to the recent photographs requirement. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna link this below my video and you can go and check it out and read the instructions. Basically, as far as I remember, the photograph should be 600 times 600 pixels and white background, no shadows, no glasses, no hat. And this way, like I said, you can do your own selfie, but then you have to adjust it, maybe use a Photoshop. All right, moving on. Number 9, mailing address. Okay, that's self-explanatory. Number 10, country where you live today. Number 11, phone number. It's optional. Number 12, email address. And make sure to use the email address that you actually have access to, because it will be super helpful, because you will be actually checking the documentation. Once you submit the entry and you are selected, you will respond to that notification of the selection through the entrant status check, and you will receive follow-up email communication from Department of State notifying you that the details of your immigrant visa interview are available. So again, you make sure to use the email address that you have access to. Okay. Number 13 is the level of education that you have achieved as of today, okay? Not the future pacing, as of today. Today you have to meet the requirement, not in 6 months, today. Number 1, primary school. Number 2, some high school, no diploma. Number 3, high school diploma. Number 4, vocational school, and so on. So again, like I'm gonna link that video, not the video, I'm gonna link that document below this video so you guys can check it out. Number 14 is the current marital status. You are either unmarried, married, and spouse is not a US citizen, or US lawful permanent resident, married and your spouse is a US citizen or resident. Number 4, you are divorced. Number 5, widowed. And number 6, legally separated. And by the way, if you are married, you can, and your spouse is obviously not US citizen and is not a resident of the United States, you can certainly include your spouse with your application, as well as you can include your kids. If your kids are under 21 and they can do the same, your spouse can include you, and that's how you're going to increase the chances to be selected. Okay. Number 15, number of children. Then you're going to provide the information if these kids are under 21, obviously. All right, so this is how it's done. These are the main requirements, guys. Pretty easy, self-explanatory. If you still have any confusion, you can do 2 things. You can book a consultation with me. You can leave a comment below. Sometimes I do reply. Don't get mad if I don't reply to your comments. I'm getting many comments. And also, I have a mini training on DV Visa Lottery, and in that training, I'm actually guiding you step by step what to do, how to apply, if you still need help, right? But as I said, this is self-explanatory. You don't need to pay anybody if you want to apply for DV Visa Lottery. And if there is a website asking you to pay, it's scam, it's fraud. I made a videos on this, so you go back and check these videos, these 2 playlists for you, helpful, self-explanatory. And like I said, stay tuned. In the next video, I will actually talk about the frequently asked questions, because there are many frequently asked questions and I do want to clear this confusion for you. So I hope this was a helpful video and that you enjoyed this video. If you find it useful, please do like it. Also share this information with other people, especially people who want to apply for DV Visa Lottery, who need this information, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.